Hello all. Welcome to another session on Power Virtual Agents where we will try to see how we can call a Power Automate from Power Virtual Agents. Now, as part of creating this demo, we will be taking up a business use case where we have a requirement that needs to set up an automated appointment booking system, which will let users book a specific doctor of choice for consultation on a specific day and keep the appointment records in the hospital backend so that the hospital can pull daily appointment reports for operational activities. So to achieve this, we'll be creating a bot in the front end, and in the backend, we'll have a SharePoint list, which will have a few columns to store the appointment details like the patient name, appointment date, and the doctor name. So let's get started with the bot creation. We will create a new bot and name it hospital appointment. And we will just click on create, which will provision the bot. Now, once the bot is created, the first thing that we will be doing is create a new topic, which will start the conversation based on the trigger keywords the user inputs. So by the time the bot is being provisioned, we will just head over to SharePoint and look at the backend SharePoint list, which is going to hold the appointment details. We have created a patient name column, a doctor name column, as well as the appointment date column as well. So that we will be using this list to store the details or the appointment details of the patient. Now, if we head back to the bot, we can see that the bot has been provisioned. Now, we can go ahead and create a new topic, which will be triggered based on some triggered phrases. So we will see in order to actually add the trigger phrases that will get activated based on the inquiry of the user who wants to book an appointment. We will be using some trigger phrases like medical checkup, clinical examination, or consult physician, so that it actually correlates to the appointment booking, and it is good to have at least 5 to 10 different words which will to an extent cover the spectrum of keywords which relates to the appointment booking. Now let's enter, which has added the trigger phrases. So the trigger phrases are now set up. Now we will add a message box that will welcome the user to the appointment booking system. Followed by that, we will add another question to the user so that he can answer it, based on which we will take up the conversation forward. So the first question would be to actually get to know the name of the user so that we can personalize the questions later if needed. And the first question that we are going to ask is, may I know the name please? And we will use the data type of the person name so that we will capture it as a string, and we will store it as a person name in the variable, but we'll just rename the variable to customer name so that it becomes easy to track. Now once done, let's close it. So as to personalize the question, now we will use the variable customer name, which contains the patient name for while asking another question. Now we will ask another question to see how can we help them today. We will just add the question and reference the name of the user by referencing the customer name variable here, and that forms our next question. And we'll have options, multiple options, one would be to actually book a doctor consultation, and the next would be to actually book a health checkup. And the moment we add the options, we can see that the corresponding branches is created in the bot in the downward section, and we can see that the corresponding values are being saved to in the variable here. We will just again rename it to customer response, so that again we will give some friendly variable names for easier tracking. And in each of the branches, the value that is stored in the customer response is checked. If it is a book a doctor consultation, then we can consider adding another question so that we can get to know which is the current doctor, or which is the doctor that they would like to actually visit. Now it again becomes a multiple choice question where we will be giving different options, we can have the option for a physician, we can have a pediatrician option, Then we can have the option for an ENT possibly, and this way we can have any number of options, but for timing we'll just stick on with 3 options. And in case if you want to actually continue the conversation when the user selects book a health checkup, we can have another question that asks for when do they want to actually have the consultation for the date of the particular health checkup has to happen, and it can be a daytime response which we will be saving it. And we will again rename the variable to checkup date, so that again we can have an easy way to track the variables. We will rename the doctor selection as variable as well to something that becomes easily trackable. We'll just close it, and you can see now each of the branch evaluates the value present in the doctor selection to one of those choice values. Now we'll also try to get the appointment date for each of the doctors. So we'll ask a question. Please select the date of appointment, and we will again give it as a date time as the response that we're going to collect from them. We will have the names of the variable that will select that will store the appointment for Johan Hill as Johan Hill appointment time, and we will replicate the same for each of the doctors by asking the same question. We will have the same question with the same date and time, and we will just have the Martin as the doctor name, so we'll have the variable name as Martin appointment time. We will continue to do the same for James as well, and ask the question, when is the appointment they would like to have, and we'll select and James appointment. This way we have got the appointment times as well. Now the next thing to do is we will just showcase to the end user that we have booked the appointment date and time using a show a message node, and this time we will specifically personalize the message by the doctor selection as the variable which contains the Johan Hill name, doctor's name, and we will also add the name, time of the appointment. Now same way we will add the message for the rest of the doctors. We will have the doctor selection here and has been scheduled for will be Martin appointment time. Same goes for James. We will add the doctor selection here as well as the appointment time. This way we have shown the users the appointment has been fixed for the particular doctor at the scheduled time, but we also need to actually ensure that these appointment details are saved in the backend, so that the hospital can actually pull these details on a daily basis to actually prepare the appointment chart for that particular day. So as to do that, what we will do is we will call Power Automate so as to save all this entire data to the backend. And to do that, we will just click on call an action, and we will select create a flow. This will open up Power Automate for us, and this will help us save the data that we have captured in Power Virtual Agents from the users and transfer it to the flow, so that we can just create an item in SharePoint using one of the actions and save it. So as the first step, we will add the inputs. The first input would be the patient name, so that we already have been capturing these details in the Power Virtual Agents, and we'll try to carry it over to the flow. The next input would be the doctor name. Then we'll have a third input for the appointment date. This way we will be capturing the data from, while we're calling the flow, we'll transfer these details from Power Virtual Agents. And the next thing to do will be to actually create an item. So as to do that, we'll try to actually find the create item action for SharePoint. and specify the site where you want to actually store these details and the list name as well. And in the advanced options, we will just give the details that needs to be saved. So the patient name will actually be contained in the patient name variable. The doctor name will be present in the doctor name variable. Same goes with the appointment date will be present in the appointment date value. So finally, this completes the flow. Let's click on save. This will save the Power Automate. And in fact, before saving, we should have renamed the flow to something like Doctor Appointment Flow, so that it becomes quite easy for us to select it from the Power Virtual Agent. And let's do a save once again. And once we've completed the saving of the flow, we will head back to Power Virtual Agents, and we will try to call the flow, call an action once again, which should ideally list down the flow that we have created recently. And if you can see, like, we have the Doctor Appointment flow here. We'll be passing in the values from values that we have saved in the corresponding variables. Now the doctor name would be Doctor Selection, and the appointment date will be Johan Hill appointment date. Same goes for the rest of the doctors as well. We'll use the same flow to actually update the details for each of the doctors to the backend, and it should list the same flow. Select it, do the same activity of adding the customer name, doctor name, and this time it will be Martin as the doctor. Let's repeat it once again, and we will have the customer name, doctor name, and finally we will have the appointment time. This way we have completed the flow for the doctor appointment in case of doctor consultation flow. Now in case we want to actually save the details in case of checkup, then we will use the same flow to save the details. It's just that yeah, we have currently got the appointment checkup date actually. Now we will just show one more message box to show a message saying that the appointment has been scheduled. So we will just add the variable that has the value. It will be the checkup date. And now we will add the action to call the flow and pass on the values for the patient name. We don't have a doctor specifically, but we do have a customer response which correlates to health checkup. So we will just save that as the value for the doctor name, and for appointment date we will have the value for in value the checkup date variable. This way we have completed the flow for the health checkup, and then we will also add end of conversation with the survey, so that that particular branch completes the execution. The same goes with the doctor consultation branch as well. We will end with the survey for each of it, so that the user can actually give the feedback regarding the service provided by the bot, which really helps in updating the bot in case there are some comments actually. This way we'll complete the Power Virtual Agent development. Now we can just try to see if how the bot really responds when it is being triggered by a user. Now let's test the bot by entering the trigger keyword. Let's type in appointment, which will show us the welcome message followed by our name would be requested, which we can type in. Followed by that, we can choose either from booking a doctor consultation or booking a health checkup. I will just go ahead and select book a doctor consultation, and it also lists down like the doctors that are available. I will just go ahead and select Martin, which again takes us to the next set of questions regarding the appointment time. So I can actually type in a date in a daytime format, or I can even type in today at 2 p.m. and it will actually identify the date time a value, and it has actually called the Power Automate in the backend, as you can see. and we can see if the data is getting recorded. We can see that the data has been inputted from the user has been saved in the backend. Now, same way, like I can just test the health checkup flow as well. I will just retrigger it once again by using the appointment trigger keyword, and I will add the user name, and I will select the book a health checkup option this time, which will take us to the action that asks for the medical checkup time. I will just enter 28th March as a date and enter, and it is intelligent enough to ask like in which year, because we didn't mention the year. So we'll just select the year, and you can see like again the flow has been triggered this time, and the data should ideally have been saved. So we'll just quickly go to SharePoint backend, and we can see that the doctor appointment has been booked with the health checkup title for the corresponding date. So this way we have seen like how we can create a health checkup or a doctor consultation appointment bot which captures data from the user and saves the data to the backend. It can be a SharePoint list, or it can be any other Dataverse or a SQL server, or whatever database we are using can be used to be the saving mechanism. So that was a very quick demo on how to trigger a Power Automate from Power Virtual Agents to extend the functionality of the chatbot that we are using to capture data from the users to extend the holistic purpose of the chatbot as well. Now, we'll come up with more examples on how we can leverage Power Virtual Agents on a day-to-day use case based examples. Thank you for watching, and see you soon in another video.